Dave, in a shortened season, do you feel the bullpen's value is even greater considering you don't have as much of a luxury to either blow leads or not keep games close to give your offense a chance?
Yeah, I do. Obviously pitching is king and it all matters. But I certainly think with the ability, with a deeper roster, to allow for more matchups, and when you do get leads, in the middle of the game, to be able to secure them. And so, obviously there's the extra inning rule, but to go longer and use leverage relievers and give up games that you have in hand certainly is more magnified this year. So to your question, yeah, relief pitching I think is probably a little bit more important than it typically is.
You don't have the luxury anymore of riding in 18 of your top guys in the lineup because you're facing an actual opponent tonight. How difficult is it to now start really thinking about constructing your lineup for real?
Yeah, I think that, regardless of what team, was out there the last week and a half, it looked like a formidable big league ball club. Now it's just kind of putting together some things and seeing how it looks. I have a good idea. Nothing is certainly set, but I think that, we'll know more here in a few days, but I've already got a good idea of what we want to do.
Can we anticipate that tonight, tomorrow, Tuesday, we see what appears to be a typical opening day lineup for you, albeit obviously it's a matchup dependent?
Yeah, I'm probably over the next couple of days going to mix up a couple things, but I think probably, the core of it, kind of the meats and bones of what you'll see the next few nights will be similar to opening day.
Okay, and I apologize that I wasn't on the call yesterday. Can you just confirm the starters for tonight, tomorrow, and Tuesday, please?
Tonight is obviously tonight's Mitchell, and then it's going to be Julio, and Julio's either throwing tomorrow night or Tuesday night, Alanna. It's not going to be anyone that Josiah Gray is going to be the other guy.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Next question from Dave Vassay. Go ahead, Dave.
Dave, over the course of 162, you guys have shown patience with certain players and in individual games. Do you still have the luxury of being as patient to evaluate in 60 games, or do you feel like you have to make decisions a little bit quicker in the micro and macro?
I think that you have to be a little bit more proactive. I think that, rule of thumb for a position player, it's kind of the 100 at bat threshold where you can really see where the player's at in the batter's box. So certainly it's going to be south of that. But I think you still have to use your eyes and seeing how the guy is taking at bats, swinging his strikes, taking balls, ball off the bat, contact rate, how we're playing as a ball club. The defense certainly matters. But I think, yeah, you have to be a little bit more proactive than normal.
As far as Kenley goes, the last appearance he had in the intra-squad game, he didn't throw too many cutters. Is the cutter still a big part of his repertoire, or after everything that he's done during the offseason, is he going to incorporate more of the two-seamer and the slider than in years past?
I think the cutter is certainly a big part of his repertoire still. I think that with Kenley, to be able to get left-hand hitters off the cutter, up and in, to then be able to throw the two-seamer or something down below at the breaking ball, I think is a very good thing. But the characteristics of his cutter is all we care about, Dave. And it's not about the velocity of the cut fastball. When he's throwing it and it's doing what it's supposed to do, he's going to get major league hitters out. So that's kind of what we want to, stress to Kenley as far as pitch command, using his mix. But again, the cutter characteristics is most important.
What have you seen from those characteristics in the two outings?
As good as they need to be, and replicating a lot of what they've been, in 17 and 18.
Would you say it looks better now than it did a year ago at this time, or whenever you started the season?
I think so, and I think that, Henley can speak for himself, but I think there was a little too much concern on velocity as opposed to throwing the baseball the right way and letting the hitters dictate, their swings dictate, what you do and don't need to do. But, when he's throwing the baseball right and it's moving the way it's supposed to move, he's as good as anybody.
Thank you.
Next question is from Joe Painter Lopez. Go ahead, Joe.
Hi, Dave. What are your thoughts on Blake as you've gotten to know him? And then secondly, what is his role in the bullpen going to be?
Blake is, he's a leverage reliever. He's a guy that gets left and right out. He's a fantastic guy. I love talking to him. He's a tremendous worker. Guys love him on the team. I think he feels comfortable here in a Dodger uniform. So I think just a guy like him who's had so much success, being open to whatever we ask of him, I think is very helpful for all of us.
And then he said part of, what made him want to sign with the Dodgers was, what you guys did in the presentation of what he was doing well in 2018 versus kind of some of the struggles of 2019. What are some of your thoughts on how he's kind of moved past that to try and get back to where he was in 2018?
I think for him, it's just the confidence, like with any player, where there's some mechanical things that we detected. Our guys did a great job. And, his trust with us, identifying and being able to execute or implement what we feel can make him even better, back to what he was in 18. He's a monster that gets lefties and righties out, and it's the heavy bowling ball sinker, it's the slider, cutter, and it's the forward seamer that he can throw at the top of the zone to right and left. So he gets back to who he is. 18 showed, he's an elite guy.
Thank you.
Next question is from Jack Harris. Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead, Jack.
There we go. Just as you get to the end of camp now, are you happy with how things have gone the last couple of weeks? Like, what are the things that when you watch the guys on the field, you see the most either progress or knocking off the rust or whatever it's been, even over just from the start of the month?
Yeah, very, very pleased. Very, very pleased with the pitching all around, the defensive play, the at-bats, all of it, the compete when you're playing against, guys in the same uniform over and over. It gets to be a little monotonous, but our guys didn't let down their guard. So now to see another club, I think guys are looking forward to that. And now, opening day is a few days away. So very pleased with everything.
What is it like walking around the clubhouse every day? How different have your routines become as far as just being able to interact with guys or even have guys in your office? I mean, is it as different as maybe it seems from the outside?
It is a little bit different. Guys are more trying to be outdoors more and spreading out. But I think that as far as it was a little bit more, I wouldn't say relaxed, but guys were, more light-hearted, spirited early when we first got to summer camp. But I think now it's starting to get really more finite and even more serious. So I like that kind of aura, that feeling in the clubhouse.
Yeah. Thanks.
Next question is from Eric Steven. Go ahead, Eric.
Dave, what's next for Dustin May after pitching the other night?
Dustin is going to throw on Wednesday. It's a voluntary workout, and he'll throw it here against some hitters, and it'll be 5 innings.
Is it fair to say that he's sort of going to piggyback with Buehler the first time out, or is that just a coincidence?
Certainly a possibility, Eric.
The other thing is you've had a few days now with the crowd noise and the going through the various options at Dodger Stadium. What are your thoughts? How has it sort of played out for you?
It's okay. It's all right. It's better than nothing, but it's okay.
Thank you.
Next question is from Ron Cervenka. Go ahead, Ron.
Hey, Doc. Is Muncy still on track for the opening day?
Yes. Yeah. Muncy will be at first base opening day.
Okay, and also, do you have an update on Cody Thomas, Edwin Uceda, and Zach Rex?
I don't. I know they're not present as we speak.
If and when they do get back, will they remain on the 60 or do they move on?
Ron, I don't know that. I can't answer that right now.
Okay, thank you.
You got it.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.